the voices of their boisterous young men. Now she paused, sinking down into the grass so that she could just see the jut of the rock like a curve of starless dark, limned by the leaping dance of the unseen flames. Spearcatcher crept beside her. He was an old man, but he moved as silently as any she'd known. A man with his own ghosts, certainly, but they were none of them free of those. She stepped back onto human hands and feet. A small girl, still a small girl despite it all, skin the color of tanned leather, hair cut short and ragged about her ears. She wore a cuirass of bronze scales, a knife of the same metal at her belt. Nobody from any land would look on her and say champion at first sight. And yet there was something that this new soul had brought her. Hesprick, the Serpent priestess, had claimed this girl had a promise to her. A promise of great things, she had said. Spearcatcher shook off his wolf shape too. With him it was just like that, a twitch of the hackles becoming a shudder of the shoulders, as though he was shaking himself dry. He had walked the crown of the world for more than 40 years, had Spearcatcher, and yet here he was in her company. There his hearthwife was, back at where the fords meet, neither of them with the folly of youth in their eyes, but neither with anything to keep them in the north. "Where are the twins?" Maniye whispered. "No sign. In trouble." Spearcatcher was almost bald, his face grooved and lined by age, and grooved even deeper by the puckered scar across his cheek and ear that had burdened him with his name. "I'll scout for them." "Hold." She had a sense of movement around them, as though the champion was keeping watch and listening on her behalf. The rest of her raiding party had stopped, holding their places in the concealing grass. Then there was a flurry of motion above them. Maniye had her knife out, and Spearcatcher his hatchet, both about to strike. When the raven that swooped on them turned into a man, he almost became a dead one. There would be no use cursing feeds on rags, even if Maniye could raise her voice. He would only forget the words a moment later. He was no youth either, 10 years Maniye's senior at least, though he acted like a mad boy half the time. He was the only person who had ever lied about his name to Maniye, which seemed a terrible thing to her, but perhaps was standard behavior back in the Eyrie where he had grown up. Half his face was painted with curving, sharp-edged tattoos, a turbulent night from which his left eye stared like a berserk moon. He was grinning, of course. He was almost always grinning. Whenever he stopped, Maniye started worrying. "Speak," she whispered. Feeds on Rags, or the man who claimed that name, bobbed his head animatedly. "Found our missing messenger. Keeping him warm by the fire, they are. They're eating him?" Spearcatcher growled. "Not till they're finished with what they found in his baskets," the Raven Man told them, and not for the first time, Maniye wished he knew how to get to the point the straight way. "Happy with their guest's generosity." Maniye was about to question that, but a more urgent thought occurred to her. "Where's theyre? Don't tell me you left her there." "Wouldn't come," Feeds on Rags told her, his expression shifting to exaggerated misery. "Was going to prize the prisoner from—" Maniye cut him off with a hiss. Feeds on Rags and the coyote girl theyre worked as a team, mostly on the basis that they could cause more trouble together than either could alone. Neither of them had the common sense of a baby. It was only in this way that they were twins, yet the name had stuck. "Go find her," Maniye spat at the Raven. "Get her out, or you'll have her death on you." For a second, she saw the real man behind the bluster. The man who realized he had got it wrong yet again. He stepped in a frenzy of flapping wings, lifting into the night. Maniye opened her mouth, but Feeds on Rags was back with them almost instantly, both eyes wide. "More friends," blurted from his human mouth, and over her questions he gabbled, "Not lions! From behind!" Maniye bared her teeth, knowing what he meant instantly.